Thank you so much, my wonderful, wonderful Pakistani, for being the avenue that I am able to send my videos so that I don't keep getting deleted because I've already been blocked in a couple of different social medias. But I'm going to read this, and this is an encryption from the Bible. And then you tell me where on here it is that the Bible itself says that the pilgrimage from Egypt to the newfound land. Okay, it's in the middle of it when they got to the chapter I'm sorry, the verse 18 of Psalm 78. It says that they were looking for whores. They were not looking for meat to eat. It was meat for their lust. Meat for lust is flesh. This right here. So it says, "Give ear, O my people, to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old." Because back in the ages, there were no whores. They were harlots. They had their own homes, and you knew who they were. They weren't on the street selling them or nothing like that. They sold themselves. That's how the king ended up giving his ring to one, and then she was pregnant. She came back with the ring and said, "Whoever owns this ring is the father of my child." So where is his crown? "We will not hide them from their children, certain to the generations to come, the praises of the Lord and his strength and his wonderful works that he had done. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, and they should make them known to their children." That means that you guys were here, and then you guys left, and we were left with the Bible so that we can remember that there were more than just black people, Africans here. There was also other people from other places here. They're still enslaved, getting paid close to nothing. So how you going to tell us that there was only Africans as slaves brought here by Christopher Columbus and his thugs? That the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments. See, that's why we have the OCNI now, which is this camera you guys are looking at. Before we didn't have that, so we couldn't tell you the truth. And all you believe was a bunch of lies that came through the mouths of liars. They came to steal, kill, and destroy the vine. "And might not as their fathers, a stubborn, rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, in whose spirit is not steadfast with God." That's like this guy that I'm going to court for today. He's a deacon of the church. When Samuel was given to Eli, he made sure Hannah made sure she gave him to Eli the priest, because she knew that the Elnoks were over there eating the sacrifices and all this other stuff. Those people were on drugs. You don't eat the sacrifice. "The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle." That's the slaves. They went to fight and then they turned back. So we needed the Civil War, and we needed to find one, at least one, that was willing to fight with us without violence. And that's Martin Luther King. "And forgot his works and his wonders that he showed them." So these people have forgotten what Martin Luther King said. He said that we are non-violent and we are to fight for freedom, not for food. Because the earth is the Lord and everything in it. "Marvelous thing did he in the sight of their fathers, in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zoan." Where is the field of Zoe? Do you know where the field of Zoe is? Zoe pound. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand as heap. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. He cleaved the rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink as out of the great depths. He brought streams also out of the rock and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lust. Yeah, they spake against God. They said, can God furnish the table in the wilderness? You can't kill God, Brazil, because God made you. Behold, he smote the rock, that the waters gushed out and the stream overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? That's why they were cannibals. God said, let me go ahead and show these people that they can eat the birds, not the people. You eat all the people, we're going to have no people, because we got people eating animals. So if we got people eating animals and people eating people, we're going to have no flesh upon the earth. Who's crazy around here? Therefore the Lord heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in God and trusted not in his salvation. That means when you are in power in the church, you don't take advantage of the patrons. You don't take advantage of the women and the little girls and the little boys. You're not in church to coerce them into sexual activities. You're there to help them with their soul. You're not there to see their butts and see how big they are. You're there to see that their soul enters the gate of heaven, not hell. Though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven, and he drained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven, men did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. That's not little tiny spaghettis. That's actual meat and bread that came from the heavens. Till this day, we can see that the morning dew wets the plant so they can grow and we can get meat out of them, meaning we can get grain. Until this day, we can see the birds flying in the air, that if you shoot them down, you have meat. Now, even better, we have the chickens. So you have tamed animals that crawl around, walk around instead of flying, so you can catch them better. He rained flesh, that's the birds, also upon them as dust. When you look up and you say, oh, the birds are leaving for the winter. No, honest. That's God showing you what he did in the past so we can eat. And feather fowls like as sand in the sea. Look, all them ducks walking around. The meat is hard, so we got chicken. And he let it fall in the midst of their camps around their inhabitants. So they did eat and were filled, for he gave them their own desire.